Listen to this carefully. Some battles are not punishment, they are proximity. And here is what nobody is telling you. The sudden storm is not proof you lost your way. It is often the siren that you are pulling into the harbor of a promise. If Amalek showed up, you are closer than you think. So, let me ask you this. Why does the heat spike right when you start moving in the direction God told you to go? Why does resistance rally the moment you finally obey, finally forgive, finally budget, finally build, finally step out? You start marching and the mess multiplies. You pray and the pressure increases. You take ground and it feels like ground shakes back. You are tired. You are confused. You are tempted to translate resistance as rejection, warfare as abandonment, delay as denial. But here is the part that will blow your mind. It is not bad luck. It is not that you missed God. It is not that you are not anointed enough. Sometimes the mess is the mile marker. Sometimes the fight is the flare that says, you're on schedule. Amalek does not waste energy on people standing still. Amalek shows up to slow momentum, to bruise belief, to convince you to camp where you were called to cross. That is why the flare went up when you moved. That is why the attack keyed in when you shifted, because movement threatens the territory that thought it owned you. Listen to this carefully. Do not mislabel what God is trying to reframe. Do not call proximity punishment. Do not baptize your fear as discernment. Do not coronate confusion as counsel. Your feelings are loud, but your assignment is louder. You are not being singled out for shame. You are being singled out for strategy. Heaven is not wringing its hands. Heaven is revealing a map. And here is your action step right now, before we go any further, before we unpack the pattern. Say out loud, this mess is a marker. I am not a victim. I am a steward. I keep moving. Write it, post it, pray it. Every time the pressure spikes, prophesy to your own feet. Forward, mission pause. Hit like, subscribe, and share this with one person who is drowning in confusion. Your one click could literally change someone's spiritual destiny today. Do not hoard a lifeline. Be the friend who throws the rope. We will trace the pattern and name the enemy in a moment. But hear me, your fatigue is not final. Your confusion is not a compass. And your battle is not a verdict. It is a doorway. It is a drum roll. If Amalek showed up, you're closer than you think. Hold the line. Lift your head. Do not freeze. The very fact that it got noisy is the proof something holy is near. Keep moving until the breakthrough meets you on the road. Listen to this carefully. Let us walk the timeline nobody connects. Exodus 16, manna falls, bread from heaven, daily portion, double on the 6th, none on the 7th. Exodus 17, 1-7. Rephidim, no water. Thirst shouting louder than faith. A rock struck and rivers break out in a desert. Exodus 17:8. Then Amalek came and fought. And here is what nobody is telling you. Amalek did not show up when Israel was enslaved in Egypt. Amalek showed up when they were moving with provision in their hands. Manna was not just food, it was a training system, daily dependence, rhythms of trust, structure and obedience wrapped in bread. Gather what you need. Do not hoard. Honor the Sabbath. Why? Because chaos repels blessing. Order attracts it. God used manna to reset appetite and to prove, I am your source. The lesson, you cannot sprint on yesterday's revelation. Take today's portion. Steward it. Then Rephidim. So let me ask you this. What is Rephidim in your life? It is the place where need surfaces, where thirst exposes what your heart leans on when the canteen is empty. It is not abandonment, it is assessment. God told Moses to strike the rock, and water gushed out in the sight of the elders. He wrote a headline in the desert, even hard places can pour. Rephidim is where God teaches that supply is not location-based, it is covenant-based. Now watch the timing. Right after bread in the morning and water from a rock, then came Amalek, Exodus 17:8. Why? Because once you see God provide, momentum ignites. And the enemy fears momentum more than he fears miracles. If he cannot starve you, he will try to scramble you. He wants you second-guessing the very direction that provision confirmed. The attack is not just against your body, it is against your calendar, your cadence, your confidence. You have lived this. The raise hits your account, then an unexpected bill slams your inbox. The job offer clears, then anxiety spikes at 2 a.m. The calling clarifies, then relationships strain and texts get weird. You finally build a budget and the car throws a tantrum. You start the business and the supplier disappears. Provision, then pressure. Direction, then disruption. Breakthrough begins, and then your mind runs to the worst-case scenario. You are not crazy. You are on the Exodus timeline. And here is what nobody is telling you. The enemy is not primarily trying to take your bread. He is trying to break your pattern. He wants you to doubt the giver because of what hits after the gift. But hear me, if the timing is predictable, then the battle is strategic. That means you do not panic, you prepare, you mark the calendar, you preload your response, you build a plan that assumes pushback right after provision. Here is your action step. Write down the last 3 provisions God gave you: raise, open door, answered prayer. Then write what hit within 7 days after each one. See the pattern. Circle the point where you usually spiral and pre-decide your response. Scripture to declare, mentor to text, routine to guard. You are not a victim, you are a steward. When you know the clock, you can call the play. Because if Amalek comes on schedule, we must learn his strategy on purpose, who he targets, why he swarms the edges, and how to shut the door on his favorite angles. We are not guessing, we are graduating. Now, let us name the enemy. Listen to this carefully. Scripture does not leave Amalek undefined. Deuteronomy 25:17-18 says, "Remember what Amalek did to you, how he attacked you on the way when you were faint and weary, and cut off your tail those who were lagging behind." And here is what nobody is telling you. Amalek is not a fair fighter. He is a poacher at the perimeter. He does not charge the center. He clips the edges. He studies fatigue. He stalks delay. He hunts the back of the line. So, let me ask you this. Where are your edges right now? Not your highlight reel, your hidden margins. Sleep frayed, emotions thin, finances stretched, confidence leaking, consistency wobbling, screens stealing your hours, snacks replacing your discipline, arguments replacing prayer, the inbox that never goes to zero, the budget you build but do not keep, the routine you start but do not sustain. Which one is yours doing right now? Because Amalek attacks the stragglers. If he can get you to drift 12 inches, he can drag you 12 miles. Here is the part that will blow your mind. Amalek's goal is not simply to beat you in a fight. It is to bleed you by 1,000 small leaks until you step out of the line of promise on your own. The playbook is 3 moves. Isolate you, exhaust you, accuse you. He isolates you from voices that would steady you. He exhausts you with late nights, wasted scrolls, circular worries, unguarded spending, unmanaged tasks. Then he accuses you. If you were really called, it would not feel like this. If God really provided, why are you this tired? Maybe the promise was a lie. And you start interpreting warfare as warning tape, resistance as a red light, binary time, promise or panic, calling or confusion, movement or murmuring, forward or fragile. Amalek wants you to choose panic, confusion, murmuring, fragile, because once you reinterpret the journey as a mistake, You stop walking. And hear me, the real danger is not the arrow. It is the arrest of your feet. You stop advancing. You stop showing up. You stop stewarding. You start building a theology of retreat around a week of fatigue. Do not miss this. Amalek always has an eye on the next generation. If he can stall you, he can script your children's normal. Ziklag gets raided when leaders are weary. Legacies get looted when parents are passive. He is not only after your today, he is after your tomorrow's heirs. Where the mother and the meal table becomes a complaint table. Where the father and generosity becomes scarcity doctrine. Where the leader and disciples inherit drift. So listen, if Amalek attacks the weak places, you do not just need a shout, you need a system. Not louder hype, but layered help. Guardrails for your sleep. A calendar that protects prayer. A budget that removes emotion. A check-in that kills isolation. Pre-decided declarations that drown accusation. Here is your action step. Map your 4 edges: sleep, emotions, finances, consistency. Circle the weakest too. Write 1 guardrail per edge and 1 person who will hold you to it. Because when the edges are fortified, the back of the line stops bleeding and momentum becomes non-negotiable. Listen to this carefully. Here is the part that will blow your mind. Exodus 17:9-13 is not just a story, it is a schematic. Joshua goes to the valley with men, swords, and a plan. Moses goes up the hill with the staff of God in his hands. When the hands are raised, Israel prevails. When the hands drop, Amalek gains ground. Aaron and Hur slide a stone under Moses and hold up his hands until the sun goes down. And that day, Joshua overwhelms Amalek. Do you see it? 2 layers, 1 battle. And here is what nobody is telling you. Breakthrough is not decided by intensity in 1 layer. It is won by agreement between layers. Visible warfare and invisible warfare. Strategy, effort, discipline in the valley. Intercession, authority, alignment on the hill. Culture teaches you to pick a side, pray it away or grind it out. Heaven commands a covenant partnership. It is not only prayer and it is not only hustle. It is swords submitted to a staff. It is calendars submitted to a covenant. It is plans under a banner. So let me ask you this. Which layer have you been neglecting? Some of you pray loud, but you do not ship the work. You prophesy to projects you never execute. Others of you execute like machines, but your hands are empty on the hill. You hustle without covering, and the math keeps breaking. If the hill drops, the valley bleeds. If the valley sleeps, the hill weeps. The 2 rise together. Metaphor map this so you cannot miss it. The valley is your daily decisions. Budgeting the manna, showing up on time, answering the email with integrity, blocking the calendar for deep work, honoring your sleep, stewarding your inputs, following the plan you wrote when you were clear. The hill is your spiritual posture, prayer at set times, scripture in your mouth, fasting that sharpens focus, worship that realigns affections, declarations that drown accusation, accountability that keeps the hands lifted when you are tired. The staff, that is remembered authority and testimony. It is the rod that parted your Red Sea, the receipts of God's faithfulness. You hold it up to say, He did it before, and by His name, He will do it again. Testimony turns history into leverage. Modern culture teaches 1 layer. Boardrooms disciple you in strategy, OKRs, and operational excellence, but they will not teach you to lift holy hands. Some pulpits teach the other layer, prayer, praise, prophecy, but they will not demand a spreadsheet, a schedule, or a shipped draft. Scripture teaches both layers in 1 scene. Joshua's formation and Moses' elevation, execution and intercession, management and mantle. If you split them, you sabotage yourself. Listen, God designed this battle to require partnership, so you could never mistake personality for power. He let your hands matter so your heart would stay humble. He tied the valley's outcome to the hill's posture so you would build systems for stamina, not just spikes of zeal. Here is your action step. Draw 2 columns today, valley and hill. Under valley, list the 3 disciplined actions that most move your assignment forward. Under hill, list the 3 spiritual postures that keep your authority sustained. Tape that page where you work. This becomes your 2-layer checklist, because to win consistently, you must know exactly what to do when your feet are in the dust and exactly what to maintain when your hands are in the air. Next, I am going to coach you in the valley like Joshua, and then we will climb the hill and learn to keep the hands up until the sun goes down. Listen to this carefully. In the valley, you do not win by swinging harder, you win by aiming smarter. Joshua did not run in circles with a sword. He fought with formation, cadence, and clear commands. Here is what nobody is telling you. Most of your losses are not from lack of passion. They are from lack of a plan. God does not bless what you do not manage. Chaos repels blessing. Order attracts it. Joshua warfare is stewardship over what is in your hands. Habits, boundaries, decisions, calendars, spending, and inputs. So let me ask you this. Who is the general of your day? Every hour is a soldier. Every dollar is a soldier. Every decision is a soldier. You are the general. Stop leaving your troops unsupervised on a battlefield. Deploy them. Name the objective for 6 a.m., 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 8 p.m. Give your money orders before your emotions do. Assign your attention to targets that move the mission, not to scrolling skirmishes that bleed your strength. Imperative time. Stop reacting. Stop doom scrolling. Stop negotiating with fear. Stop letting your calendar be a democracy where every ping gets a vote. Start planning. Start tracking. Start executing. Start saying no like a warrior who knows the cost of distraction. Proverbs 27:23 says, "Be diligent to know the state of your flocks." Translation, inventory your life daily. Know where your time grazes and where your money wanders. Shepherd it or lose it. If the attack is financial, fight like Joshua. Build a zero-based plan by sunset. Every dollar gets an assignment. Debt assault, essentials, savings, generosity. Automate transfers on payday. Remove the decision from the equation. Cut the liabilities that camouflage as comforts. Sell what sits. Renegotiate what drains. Track spending daily for the next 7 days. Every dollar is a soldier. You are the general. No more AWOL money. If the attack is relational, establish boundaries. Your no is a sword. Define windows for availability. Mute manipulative threads. Script the hard conversation before you have it. Schedule a weekly alignment meeting with your spouse or team. Replace venting with a 5-minute prayer and a 5-bullet agenda. People are not the enemy, but poor boundaries are a breach Amalek loves. If the attack is mental, regulate your inputs. Bedtime is a battle position. Set a 10 p.m. lights out. Dock your phone outside the bedroom. Trade the first 30 minutes of the day for scripture, stillness, and a written plan. Select your thoughts like rations. 3 declarations, 1 chapter of Proverbs, 5 minutes of breath and gratitude. Limit news to a 15-minute window. Feed your mind like a soldier, not a scavenger. Here is your action step. Draft a 1-page valley order of battle for the next 7 days. Top line, 3 mission-critical tasks. You ship daily before noon. Second line, a time-blocked calendar with alarms as sentries. Third line, a money map, income, bills, debt, auto-saves, with 1 same-day cut or renegotiation. Fourth line, boundaries, 2 no's you will enforce and 1 person you will report to by 8 p.m. Do an after-action review nightly. What advanced, what bled, what adjusts tomorrow. And listen, Joshua can fight all day, but if Moses' hands drop, momentum shifts. You will build order in the dust, and I will teach you to keep authority on the hill. Hold this line in the valley, then meet me on the ridge where hands rise and battles turn. Listen to this carefully. Moses' lifted hands were not a hype moment. They were a posture of sustained dependence and delegated authority. He did not rev up a shout and go home. He held a position until the sun went down. And here is what nobody is telling you. The breakthrough was not won by a spike of emotion. It was secured by a sustained posture. When the hands stayed high, momentum held. When the hands sagged, Amalek surged. The hill decided the valley. So let me ask you this. How long can you hold your hands up? Not just on the morning you are inspired, but on the afternoon you are numb. The real threat is not the enemy's sword. It is your spiritual droop. Fatigue is a thief with soft feet. It does not shout, it saps. You do not fall in one day. You leak across days. Leaks of prayer, leaks of praise, leaks of scripture, leaks of confession. And then you look up and wonder why the ground you won last week is wobbling today. It is not that the valley changed. It is that the hill posture slipped. Here is the part that will blow your mind. God baked community into the battle plan, so your authority would never hang on your mood. Exodus 17:12 says, Aaron and Hur put a stone under Moses and held up his hands, one on one side, one on the other, so his hands were steady until sunset. Translation: You need structure and people, not lone wolf spirituality. Which two are on your left and right? Who is under you as the stone? If you cannot name them, that is your breach. Modern mapping time. Aaron and Hur look like this. A prayer partner you meet at a set time, a mentor who asks inconvenient questions, a church rhythm that anchors your week, a counselor who helps you untangle the knots before they strangle your faith, a small group that knows your real calendar, not your curated one. Accountability is not control. It is scaffolding until the wall can bear its own weight. God does not bless what you will not manage. Authority is managed through rhythms and relationships. Now, the lie at the edge of every long fight is simple and brutal. God left me. Replace it on purpose. Hebrews 13:5. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with you. I will strengthen you. I will uphold you. Here is your declaration. God has not left me. He upholds me. My hands are steady by His strength. Every time the droop starts, you do not negotiate with it. You answer it. Scripture replaces story. Declarations displace deception. Bridge this to the stone under Moses. You need a stone. Fixed rhythms that hold you when feelings collapse. Set prayer at 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. Alarms as sentries. Scripture first 20 minutes before screens. One fast day each week to cut noise and clear focus. Worship on your commute. Same playlist, same promise. Weekly communion in your home, even if it is a cracker and juice to remember the banner you fight under. Sunday is non-negotiable. God's house recalibrates your house. Remove the decision from the equation. Put honor on a schedule. Here is your action step. Before midnight, choose your Aaron and Hur. Text them this exact line. I am in an Exodus 17 battle. Be my left and right for the next 30 days. 2 check-ins a week. Ask me if my hands are up. Put a stone under you. Book 2 recurring prayer times in your calendar with a 5-minute scripture and declare script attached. Write your replacement verse on a card. Hebrews 13:5 on one side, Isaiah 41:10 on the other. and read it out loud morning, noon, and night for 7 days. Join a group or schedule a counseling session within 72 hours. Why? Because the breakthrough is often decided not by how loud you start, but by how long you can sustain your posture until the battle finishes. Keep the hands up and watch the valley obey the hill. Listen to this carefully. Moses did not pace the ridge on adrenaline, he sat on a stone. And here is what nobody is telling you. Adrenaline can start a fight, but only a system can finish one. You do not need more motivation. You need a structure that holds your faith when your strength drops. The stone under Moses is your fixed rhythm. The support at his sides is your enforced accountability. Chaos repels blessing. Order attracts it. Remove the decision from the equation, and you remove the drift from your days. Here is the part that will blow your mind. If you build a battle rhythm, the weeks that will not end cannot break you. They can only reveal what works. So let me ask you this. What is your daily, weekly, monthly cadence? Write this down. Daily, word before world. 20 minutes of scripture and prayer before any screen with 3 declarations preloaded. A 2-minute noon reset. Read 1 verse, breathe, realign. 10-minute evening exam. What advanced, what bled, what adjusts tomorrow. Lights out set by alarm. Sleep is spiritual warfare. Weekly, community, and check-in. Sunday in the house of God without negotiation. 1:30 to 45-minute call with your AARON/HUR to report hands-up metrics, prayer times kept, scriptures declared, boundaries enforced. Meal prep and budget review that remove panic buying. Monthly, review and adjust. Block 90 minutes to study your patterns, celebrate wins, course-correct misses, and reset your plan for the next 30 days. Automation is your silent ally. Schedule prayer like a meeting with the king. Recurring, non-cancelable. Set do not disturb windows and app blocks in the hours your mind leaks. If the attack is financial, automate generosity and savings on payday. First fruits before first feelings. Every dollar is a soldier and you are the general. Standing orders outrank shifting moods. Auto-pay essentials, auto-transfer to debt assault. Auto-move fund money to a separate card so it cannot raid your mission account. Remove the decision from the equation. Now, your 30-day challenge. Track 4 things daily. Triggers, spending, sleep, scriptures used. Triggers, what conversation, time of day, or feed caused your droop. Spending, every dollar, every swipe, no exceptions. Sleep, hours, and quality. Fatigue explains more warfare than you think. Scriptures, which verses you deployed and what changed within 60 minutes. Why? Because data builds deliverance. At the end of 30 days, run an after-action review. Which triggers preceded the slump most often? Which boundaries prevented it? Which verse recovered momentum fastest? Adjust your rhythm based on evidence, not emotion. Testimony time. Maya was drowning. Panic at 4 p.m., impulse DoorDash, midnight scrolls, overdrafts like clockwork. She built the stone and support, word before world, a 10 p.m. lights out, Sunday non-negotiable, Wednesday check-in with a friend, and 2 auto transfers on payday. Week 1, the noise fought her. Week 2, her 4 p.m. panic had nowhere to land because a verse and a 5-minute walk sat in its spot. By week 3, overdrafts stopped. By week 4, the same texts that used to spin her out lost leverage. Not because feelings vanished, but because the system outlasted them. Here is your action step. Within 24 hours, create your battle rhythm sheet with 3 columns. Daily, weekly, monthly. Set alarms for prayer and bedtime. Activate Do Not Disturb and app blocks for your leak hours. Automate giving and savings today. $10 is still obedience. Calendar your weekly check-in and book your 30-day review. Start tracking triggers, spending, sleep, and scriptures tonight. Send your AARON/HUR this line. Hold me to my rhythm for 30 days. Ask me for proof. Build the stone and the support, and watch, drift, die. Now that your system is holding you when your strength sags, we need to expose why Amalek screamed so loud in the first place. His real target is not your calendar, it is your name. We are about to upgrade identity from victim to steward to warrior. Listen to this carefully. The loudest lie in a long fight is this: I am always under attack. And here is what nobody is telling you. That sentence is not describing a season. It is building a self. If you wear under attack as your name tag, you will start curating your days around fear instead of formation. You will call training trauma. You will call resistance a red light. And you will settle into a lifestyle of defense. Amalek loves that. He cannot stop your promise, so he tries to steal your identity. But under my banner, the mess is not a mirror. It is a marker. It does not tell you who you are. It tells you what you are ready to learn. So let me ask you this. Who are you in this valley? Slave to circumstance or steward of assignment, panic or posture, complaining or commanding? Israel walked out of Egypt in a single night, but Egypt walked out of Israel across many days. Freedom at the ankles is fast. Freedom in the mind takes a rhythm. In Exodus, I fed them manna to train dependence, poured water from the rock to train trust, then allowed Amalek to surface the next lesson, identity. Slaves wait for permission. Sons and daughters carry covenant. Slaves react to pressure. Warriors hold a posture that governs pressure. Which one is yours doing right now? Here is the part that will blow your mind. The same attack that used to break you becomes proof you are growing the moment your name changes. Why? Because identity selects strategy. Victim says, why me? Steward says, what's the plan? Warrior says, where do I stand? When you upgrade, the waves that once drowned you become weights that build you. Same external pressure, new internal person, different outcome. Say this out loud right now. Write it in the comments tied to your fight. I am not a victim. I am a steward. I am trained for battle. I am moving forward. If it is finances, type, I am a steward. Every dollar obeys mission. If it is health, I am disciplined. My body serves my calling. If it is calling, I am anointed and organized. My gifts are submitted and scheduled. 2. If it is family, I am a builder of peace. Our table is covenant territory. Your words are not decoration, they are direction. Identity is not denial of pain, it is dominion in pain. You are not pretending the sword is light. You are declaring that your hands are upheld. You are not ignoring the bank account. You are governing it under a banner. I name you steward so you will track. I name you warrior so you will stand. I name you covenant so you will command with scripture, not complain with speculation. Here is your action step. Write your new name at the top of your battle rhythm sheet. Steward warrior under a banner. Text your AARON and HUR this identity sentence. Hold me to my name. Ask me for proof. Declare your 4 lines morning, noon, and night for 7 days. I am not a victim. I am a steward. I am trained for battle. I am moving forward. Because identity produces decisions, and decisions write days. Next, I will hand you a 7-day Amalek battle plan that turns this name into non-negotiable moves. Daily action, daily authority, daily support. So momentum does not just start, it compounds. Listen to this carefully. Breakthrough becomes inevitable when you combine daily action, daily authority, and daily support on purpose. Here is what nobody is telling you. You do not drift into victory, you schedule it. So let me ask you this. Are you ready to run a 7-day battle plan that forces momentum to multiply? Start today, not Monday. Today. Day 1. Name the battle. Write Amalek by description, not just by feeling. List symptoms, triggers, patterns, people, and pressures. When does the dip hit? 4 p.m. scroll, late night sugar, unplanned spending, that text thread. Circle the top 2 triggers and the top 2 patterns that bleed your momentum. Clarity breaks confusion. Paper breaks panic. Day 2. Choose your Joshua. Pick one practical action you will do every day for 7 days that moves the mission. Budget line item you will hit before 10 a.m. Therapy appointment scheduled and kept. A 30-minute workout at 7 a.m. A boundary phrase you will use in your next hard conversation. A 90-minute study/deep work block without notifications. Put it on the calendar. Set alarms as sentries. Remove the decision from the equation. Day 3. Raise the staff. Select 3 scriptures that answer your primary lie and speak them morning and night. Example, the Lord is my banner, Exodus 17:15, to replace I am alone. Fear not, for I am with you. I will uphold you, Isaiah 41:10, to replace I cannot hold this. He trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle, Psalm 144:1, to replace I am not built for this. Write them on a card. Declare them out loud. Scripture replaces story. Day 4. Assign Aaron and Hur. Text 2 people right now. I am in an Amalek fight. Be my left and right for 7 days. 2 check-ins. Day 4 and Day 7. Ask me if my hands are up. Prayer kept. Action shipped. Boundary enforced. Put the check-ins on the calendar. Accountability is not punishment, it is protection. Day 5, build the stone. Lock a rhythm so your feelings cannot move your foundation. Sleep window, lights out set. Wake time set. Prayer window, word before world for 20 minutes. No phone window, first 30 minutes of day and last 30 minutes of night. Phone docked outside bedroom. Activate do not disturb for deep work hours. Automate what matters. Giving, savings, debt assault. Day 6, wage obedience. Do one act of obedience that costs you comfort. Tithe or give a set amount you have delayed. Apologize where pride kept you stiff. Serve an hour where you only consume. Cancel a draining subscription and redirect that money to mission. Obedience is the key that unlocks closed doors. Do it today, no delay. Day 7. Review and adjust. After-action review with your Aaron/Hur. What shifted in peace, clarity, provision, and temptation? Which trigger lost power? Which verse carried the most weight within 60 minutes? Keep what works, cut what drains. Renew the same plan for the next 7 days, or tighten the screws where drift tried to return. Here is your action step. Write Day 1 started on your battle rhythm sheet and text your Aaron/Hur the photo. Because the Bible does not end the story at victory, it teaches you to remember it so you do not repeat the panic next season. Hold this posture. Tomorrow we build the altar, name the banner, and lock memory into your bones so the next fight recognizes you before it reaches your gate. Listen to this carefully. We have fought in the valley. We have kept the hands up on the hill. Now we seal it so you do not have to relearn the same lesson next month. Exodus 17:15 says Moses built an altar and named it, "The Lord is my banner, JEHOVAH-NISSI." And here is what nobody is telling you. Altars are not decor. They are doctrine you can touch. They anchor memory to matter so future attacks cannot rewrite your theology. When Moses named the place, he named the narrative. He did not say, "We're strong." He said, "He carried us." By naming the banner kills the fear of the next fight, because you remember who held your hands and who governed the outcome. So let me ask you this. What will your next valley hear you say? "I hope it works," or "JEHOVAH-NISSI already carried me"? The enemy's favorite weapon after a win is amnesia. If he can steal your memory, he can steal your momentum. Today, we deny him the edit. We build the altar. Here is the part that will blow your mind. Testimony is not just a story you tell, it is a weapon you wield. Revelation 12:11 says they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. Translation, what God did for you becomes ammunition against what the enemy tries next, but only if you memorialize it. So here is your action step. Build practical altars this week. Journal the win with dates, numbers, and names. What you asked, what he did, how long it took, what changed within 60 minutes of scripture and obedience. Screenshot the turnaround. Bank alert cleared, email answered, appointment kept, the text you finally sent, and drop it in a JEHOVAH-NISSI photo album. Write a prayer that names God as your banner over this exact fight and tape it where the panic used to sit. Set a giving milestone tied to this victory, an offering labeled Nissi so generosity becomes a stone of remembrance. Share the story with one friend or your small group and say the exact phrase, "This is how we fought, valley plan and hill posture." Your survival becomes someone else's faith. Your battle becomes their blueprint. Commissioning moment. Do not hoard the map heaven just handed you. The pattern you practiced, daily action, daily authority, daily support, is a template families can inherit. Build an altar at your table. Name a corner of your office, Nissi. Record a 2-minute voice note of the breakthrough and text it to the person who thinks the mess means God left. Their faith is waiting on your memory. Here is your closing move. Comment your declaration right now. JEHOVAH-NISSI is my banner, I will remember. Share this with one person drowning in an Amalek week. Your one click could literally change someone's spiritual destiny. Subscribe and stay equipped because we are not done training your hands for war. We are building a people who do not drop their banner between battles. Final word. Amalek showing up does not mean you are cursed. It often means you are close, and heaven is training your hands for war. Name the banner. Build the altar. Return to your rhythm. The next fight will find you unafraid because you will point to your stones and say, "He carried me then, he carries me now."